When life gets unpredictable, preparation matters. In medicine, it's all about staying alert, ready for whatever comes through the door. On the road, it's no different. That's why Volvo designs vehicles to help anticipate risk, reduce harm, and protect lives. The Volvo XC90's advanced safety systems inspire confident decisions wherever the road takes you. The Volvo XC90, for life. Proud sponsor of the Pit Podcast. Learn more at volvocars.ca/safety.
All right, welcome back to the Elias Macko Show. Ted Dranias joins us here in studio. He's the owner of Petros Taverna. And Ted, you've got multiple locations down the city, right? You're all over the place.
Yeah, we have 5 places. I mean, my partners run everything.
Yeah.
I'm more or less like the ambassador of all the brand name.
Yeah.
But I just want to reiterate about Mr. Scott, who spoke before. He said the immigrants, how they built this.
Oh, you were listening
province.
to our previous segment with Scott Phelan from the Irish community.
I just want to reiterate, and it's very important that everybody recognizes that how back the immigrant population goes in this province.
Yes.
And how much we've contributed.
Yes.
And the hard work that our parents and all these people did from Europe.
And it's waves. It's waves and it's waves and it's waves. Okay, so Ted, listen, the reason you're in today in studio with us this morning, you know, the restaurant business is tough. No, it doesn't matter who I talk to, what restaurant it is. I always hear this, it's a tough business to be in, but you love it, so you do it, right? But is there something unique, special, that's grinding you down right now with how Montreal, the city of Montreal, is treating your businesses and maybe what else you see with other businesses?
Well, I'd like to state, whenever I'm driving around the city and my wife's in the car, we always get into an argument. She says, you you become like a black cloud. You always talk about the negativity of the bike paths. And I said, it doesn't make any sense. When you narrow down a 2-way street to a one-lane street, then the guy can't park. You're liable to hit a biker coming out of nowhere, especially in the evening when he's not wearing anything that's flashing. So, and some of the locations downtown that were before easily accessible by car to park, nowadays, it's hard to park your car.
Yeah.
I stopped yesterday in front of McGill University. I went around 3 times to stop at the Titan head offices, and I went around 3 times to find parking. I parked legally. I went up, came down, and thankfully I had no ticket.
but you probably came close, right? Yeah. Okay, so and by the way, I feel for you. There's some times where I see a bike lane and I go, oh, why did they do this? Like I'm looking at what they've done in front of the Bell Center right now.
Right.
Driving by there, and I said, this doesn't seem
Imagine that during a hockey game in an evening when you got to turn left, right, and center.
Oh, well, let me tell you something. I was coming from an event, and the Bell Center there was a show at the Bell Center, but I was just driving through, and I got stuck there forever because of that reconfiguration. But you've got one of your locations on William Street, right, in Griffintown. Yeah.
Well, I've been in Griffintown now almost 10 years. Originally, I operated a restaurant called La Trattoria on the corner of Guy and Notre Dame. Yeah. And the original Petros opened next door, and construction started back then, 10 years ago. And it was always been a handicap. They used to park their bulldozers in front of the restaurant, leave for the weekends.
Yeah.
And now, Guy Street, I was talking to my controller, Frank Sicoli, yesterday, that they're going to reopen the street eventually on William. But it's been closed for almost a month and a half. And business had dwindled for us. And, I hear my partner Kareem saying, very quiet, very quiet. Yeah. And I understand why. I drove down. You cannot make a right on William off of Guy. You got to go left. And then you go down the street, Ottawa, and you can't make any other turn, but you got to go right. So it's always like a conundrum circle.
And it's important to note, we're talking about this one location, because if you look at your other locations, not seeing those same issues, right? So when you say quiet at this spot, you can really point it to the traffic and what they've done there.
I think we almost deserve compensation for something like this because, not long ago I had invited Jimmy Zubris, who's somehow
comes on this, and he comes on this show on the Big
Jimmy,
Five. Yeah,
many years. I know his family. So I invited Jimmy over one day, and I saw him. He says, "I can't find parking." I said, "Welcome to Griffintown."
Yeah.
So the problem exists, but the way they're handling it, for example, on William, there's a 21-foot sidewalk on one side and a 21-foot sidewalk on the other side. Pedestrian bike path on both sides.
Yeah.
Basically, they eliminated my patio. I had a patio of 80 people. And all of a sudden, I get a letter that this year you're not having a terrace.
So this whole summer, you did not have a terrace.
And the previous summer.
And the previous summer. Yeah. And that's for the.
And I'd like to hire a professional to see how many people actually drive their bike and walk up and down William on a daily basis to get some statistics. Yeah. Because the bike paths are not used 12 months a year. They're probably used 60% of the year.
Yeah.
Some guys drive them in the middle of winter, but I think,
Well, listen, Ted, I think maybe you probably heard me. Like I like to split the difference on the bike paths because I see the ones where I'm like, oh, geez, I see them in use and I'm like, what, they did a good job there. And then I see the ones where I'm like, why did they put this? It's not worth the squeeze,
like
right?
on Terrebonne.
Yeah. Well, there you go, right? So, and again, the residents there are upset about that. So just what have you tried to do to mitigate, like valets and all this kind of stuff? Have you tried to do anything?
We have a valet. He charges $15 to $18 a car.
Yeah.
But our customers, when they come there and they can't find parking, it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
So a lot of them leave. Some go to Lachine. Some go to Westmount. And I don't know. I get calls, Ted, where can I park?
Yeah.
And, the back of the building there's some parking, but doesn't belong all to us. So there's not much we can do.
We're with Ted Dranias. He's the founder and owner of Petros Taverna, one of his locations on William Street, facing just hit after hit when it comes to decisions by the city. So would you say like that location, well, you're going to have to maybe face some tough decisions because of that stuff?
Yeah, my partner's a little bit, he's a little bit insecure to see how we're going to move forward. But the other day I found out that across the street from us, they're building a skating rink. And, if I was running a city, I would build a multi-level parking lot and charge X amount per hour. And then people can park in the area because basically all the business in the area are suffering and not everybody wants to pay valet. So instead of building a skating rink, I would consider building a multi-level parking lot like in Boston. Many states in the U.S. I go to Las Olas Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. The city of Fort Lauderdale invested in a huge parking lot right next to the beach. Yeah. 7 stories, and it's $1.50 an hour. So they'd pay that project off in 5-10 years.
So let me ask, because you do some business in Florida, right? Right? And, they always say grass is greener on the other side and that kind of thing. I guess you got a unique perspective. What do you say to the grass is always greener? Like, will you take the good with the bad of doing business in Quebec?
I will, because I think, the U.S. is going through some hard times. There's a lot of poverty on the streets of Fort Lauderdale, especially what I witness when I go down once a month. But, Montreal, too, we have to take care of the poor. I saw in the La Presse News not long ago that the city hierarchy guys, the 1,800 city employees got a bonus. Yeah. I think, we could have skipped the bonus and, we could have given some homeless people, like I drive by and I see people sleeping in tents. And sometimes in NDG, I see guys sleeping between porches. Yeah. I think we should have maybe a crew of people, even volunteers, to get out there and help the homeless.
Ted, can I ask you, when you must be able to talk to people at the city, right? Like if you want to talk to a counselor and that kind of thing, what kind of, like, are they receptive? Do they listen? Do you feel they're in a tough spot too? What's your interactions when you deal with the powers that be?
I've never reached out to speak to any of the city people except for Jimmy, because Jimmy actually opened arms and we had a bit of a falling out a while ago. But since we know each other for a long time and there's a family connection, we connected. And I spoke to him about my grievances. But it's hard to run a city like this, and you need cooperation from all levels. Yeah. And I find that Montreal's gone downhill. I see a lot of my friends always talking about leaving. One guy wants to move to Italy. Another guy wants to go to Greece. There's a lot of guys migrating to Greece. You'd be surprised. Statistically, you could survive with €1,500 a month and live like a king. Whereas here, you can pay.
So why aren't you on the next flight?
Well, it's in the plans. I'm waiting for my wife to retire.
Ted, listen, we have to leave it there. Okay. Thanks for sharing your concerns.
My pleasure.
We appreciate that. That's Ted Dranias. He's founder and owner of Petros Taverna.